Yemen, a sovereign country tucked away at the southern tip of the Arabian Peninsula. When people hear Yemen, most think of poverty, war, and hardship. But did you know that mocha, one of the world's most famous coffee varieties, is actually named after the Yemeni port city of Al-Mocha? Long before it was known for conflict, Yemen was once called Arabia Felix, Latin for Happy Arabia. Why? Because unlike its arid neighbors, Yemen's highlands captured rain, allowing for a flourishing agricultural civilization. It was a land of wealth, prosperity, and trade, even believed to be home to the legendary Queen of Sheba. And here's something even more surprising. In Yemen, it's completely normal to chew a mildly narcotic plant called khat every afternoon. This leafy stimulant gives people a buzz similar to amphetamines and is deeply woven into the culture. Business meetings? Family gatherings? Big decisions? Chances are they're happening mid-chew. In this land, you'll find towering mud brick skyscrapers that date back centuries, villages clinging to cliff edges, and ancient cities built entirely from earth and stone. And if you venture far enough, you'll reach Socotra Island, a place so otherworldly it looks like a lost world, home to alien-like trees and species found nowhere else on Earth. And deep in Yemen's desert lies the mysterious Well of Barhut, nicknamed the Gate to Hell, a massive sinkhole wrapped in folklore and mystery. So, what kinds of wonders and hidden treasures can be found in a country many label the most underdeveloped in the world? Let's dive in and explore Yemen's most unique places and mind-blowing wonders, a land where time stands still and history breathes from every stone. 1. Sana'a, the ancient heart of Arabia. Our journey begins in Sana'a, the ancient capital of Yemen, a city that's been continuously inhabited for over 2,500 years. Nestled high in the Yemeni highlands at nearly 7,400 feet above sea level, Sana'a is not only one of the oldest cities in the world, but also one of the most visually striking. As you walk through its old city, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, it feels like stepping straight into a storybook. Towering mud brick buildings, some reaching 7 to 9 stories high, line the narrow alleys. These aren't modern high-rises, they're centuries-old homes made entirely from sun-dried mud and adorned with white gypsum patterns that swirl like icing on a gingerbread house. The most iconic feature? The windows. Sana'a's homes are famous for their kamaria, arched stained glass windows made from alabaster or colored glass. During the day, sunlight pours through these panes, painting the interiors with soft, ethereal light. It's architecture with soul, and a kind of warmth that modern concrete could never replicate. Historically, Sana'a wasn't just a place to live. It was a center of power, trade, and Islamic scholarship. The legendary Great Mosque of Sana'a, believed to have been built during the lifetime of the Prophet Muhammad, stands as one of the oldest mosques in the Islamic world. But what truly makes Sana'a mesmerizing is how ancient life still thrives amidst the modern chaos. Locals still buy fresh bread from centuries-old ovens. Children play soccer in courtyards that have seen empires rise and fall. And yes, cat sessions still take place in those tall, slender houses where every floor has a purpose. Guests on the top, family in the middle, and storage below. Despite years of conflict and decay, the spirit of Sana'a endures, proud, poetic, and defiant against time itself. It's not just a city. It's a living museum, one that whispers stories in every brick and echoes centuries of resilience. 2. Shibam, the Manhattan of the desert. If Sana'a is a city that whispers history, then Shibam is a city that shouts it straight into the sky. Located in the Hadramaut Valley, surrounded by barren desert and ancient cliffs, Shibam rises like a mirage, a dense cluster of earthen skyscrapers, many of them soaring up to 100 feet tall. Built entirely from mud brick, these high-rise homes have earned Shibam the nickname, the Manhattan of the desert. But don't be fooled by the nickname. Shibam predates New York's skyline by centuries. Most of its buildings were constructed in the 16th century, though the city's layout dates back even earlier. Imagine it. A vertical city of mud, standing tall for over 400 years in one of the harshest environments on Earth, without steel, without concrete, and without modern technology. What makes Shibam so extraordinary isn't just its height, but its urban planning. Unlike traditional spread-out desert towns, Shibam was built vertically, not because they wanted to look futuristic, but because they needed protection. The tight clustering of tall buildings allowed residents to defend themselves from Bedouin raids, and also made the best use of limited land inside fortified walls. The towers of Shibam aren't palaces, they're homes. Every floor had its purpose. Animals were kept on the bottom, family lived on the middle floors, and the upper levels were used for storage and, naturally, catching the cool desert breeze. Walking through Shibam is like wandering through a giant clay sculpture. The walls are warm and soft to the touch, often repaired by hand with fresh mud. There's no glassy skyline or glowing neon here, just raw, ancient ingenuity, standing proud against wind, sand, and time. UNESCO called it one of the oldest and best examples of urban planning based on the principle of vertical construction. 3. Wadi Doa'n, where villages grow from cliffs. If there's one place in Yemen that feels like it was hand-sculpted by both nature and time, it's Wadi Doa'n, a narrow, winding valley carved deep into the limestone mountains of Hadramaut. At first glance, it might look like just another dry canyon in the Arabian desert. But look closer, and you'll see something that defies logic. Entire villages built vertically into the cliffs, clinging to the rock face as if they sprouted there. This is Wadi Doa'n, a place where architecture, geography, and culture fuse into one surreal landscape. The valley is famous for its mud brick villages, carefully stacked along steep hillsides, overlooking palm groves and dry riverbeds. Some villages are so remote and so high up, they're only accessible by foot or donkey. One of the most iconic sites is the village of Haid Al-Jazil, perched dramatically on a rocky outcrop, like an eagle's nest carved out of clay. Seen from afar, it looks like a miniature fortress city floating above the valley floor. And these aren't just abandoned ruins. Many of these homes are still inhabited, passed down through generations. Inside, life moves at the same pace it did centuries ago, slow, rooted, resilient. While Wadi Doa'n remains one of the most visually captivating areas in Hadramaut, the region holds other architectural gems as well, such as the palace of the Buqshan family in the nearby city of Tarim. This grand palace, built by the influential Buqshan family, is an exquisite example of Hadramaut's architectural brilliance. With its multi-story structure, elaborate ornamentation, and refined proportions, the palace stands as a testament to both wealth and craftsmanship. It reflects not only the family's elevated status, but also the cross-cultural influences brought back by Hadrami merchants who once lived and traded across Southeast Asia and Africa. 4. Dar al-Hajar, a palace carved from the heart of a rock. Unlike any palace you've ever seen, Dar al-Hajar wasn't just built on a rock, it emerges from one. Located in Wadi Dar, just outside Yemen's capital Sana'a, this 5-story structure is carved into a giant stone formation, making it look like part of the mountain itself. From a distance, it seems to grow straight out of the rock, as if nature and human hands worked together to create it. Originally built in the 18th century and later expanded in the 1930s as a royal summer residence, the palace is a masterpiece of Yemeni stone architecture. It was designed to stay cool in the intense desert heat, using wind-catching towers and a traditional water system to create natural air conditioning long before electricity. Inside, there are 35 rooms, from reception halls and kitchens to exhibition areas, storage spaces, and even a tranquil inner courtyard where the royal family once escaped the desert heat. But this wasn't just a place to relax. It was also a fortress. With gun turrets built into the walls and a water supply drawn from deep beneath the rock, Dar al-Hajar was designed to withstand sieges and intruders alike. What makes it even more iconic? Yemen once honored this architectural gem by printing it on its currency. 5. Al-Quahira Castle, Yemen's mountaintop sentinel. High above the city of Taiz, clinging to the rugged peaks like a stone crown, stands Al-Quahira Castle, a fortress that has watched over Yemen for nearly 1,000 years. This isn't just some pile of ancient ruins. Al-Quahira, whose name means the triumphant, was built to intimidate, defend, and inspire. Originally constructed in the 10th century, it has served various dynasties throughout Yemen's turbulent history, from the Rasulid to the Ottoman empires. Strategically perched on a mountain slope, the castle offers sweeping views of Taiz and the surrounding valleys, and in the past, that meant enemies could be spotted from miles away. Its thick stone walls, underground water reservoirs, and cleverly designed defense systems made it almost impossible to conquer. 6. Socotra, the alien island on Earth. If you ever wanted to visit another planet without leaving Earth, Socotra is about as close as it gets. This isolated island floats in the Indian Ocean, about 155 miles off the coast of Yemen. It's actually closer to Somalia than mainland Yemen, and geologically, it broke off from the Arabian Peninsula around 80 million years ago. That isolation gave evolution a blank canvas to get seriously creative. Socotra is home to hundreds of rare species, from bizarre insects to towering trees that look like they belong on another world. Over a third of its plant life is found nowhere else on Earth, and many of them have been around for over 20 million years. The most famous? The dragon's blood tree, a wild-looking, umbrella-shaped tree that oozes red sap and has become the island's alien mascot. Scientists often call Socotra the Galapagos of the Indian Ocean, and for good reason. It's a living laboratory of evolution, packed with strange and ancient life forms you won't find anywhere else. But Socotra isn't just about its otherworldly biodiversity. It's also stunningly beautiful. The white sand dunes of Arher Beach, where massive sand hills spill into turquoise sea. The crystal-clear Detwa Lagoon, a shallow bay surrounded by limestone cliffs and known for its surreal beauty. The Hawk Cave, a 3-kilometer-long limestone cave filled with ancient stalactites, stalagmites, and even prehistoric inscriptions. The Dixon Plateau, where the dragon's blood trees stand like ancient sentinels against a dramatic mountain backdrop. The remote beaches of Shoab and Kalansia, where you can walk for miles without seeing another soul, and sometimes dolphins swim right by the shore. Despite being part of Yemen, Socotra feels like a world apart. In 2015, the outbreak of civil war in Yemen cut the island off from the outside world, grounding flights and making access nearly impossible. To this day, getting there is no small feat. Infrastructure is minimal and flights are rare, but that only adds to its untouched charm. Socotra isn't just a place. It's a time capsule, a botanical wonderland, and one of the last truly wild places left on Earth. 7. The Well of Hell, Yemen's forbidden abyss. In the middle of Yemen's scorching desert lies a hole so deep, so dark, and so steeped in legend, locals have feared it for centuries. It's called the Well of Barhut, but locals simply refer to it as the Well of Hell. Roughly 100 feet wide and plunging over 360 feet into the earth, this gaping sinkhole has terrified generations. For centuries, it was left untouched, not for lack of curiosity, but because no one wanted to disturb what might lie beneath. The stories are endless. Some say it's home to evil spirits. Others believe it's a prison for jinn, supernatural beings of Arab folklore. Travelers tell of strange sounds, foul smells, and an overwhelming sense of dread that creeps into your soul the closer you get. For the longest time, no one dared to look inside, let alone climb down. Even the Yemeni government stayed away. It was a place where science stopped and superstition took over. But in 2021, a team of brave Omani cavers finally rappelled to the bottom. And what did they find? No demons, no curses, just strange smells, dead animals, and a haunting silence. To scientists, it may just be a sinkhole. But to the people of Yemen, it's something far deeper, a scar in the land, and in the soul of a country long misunderstood. And that's just one corner of Yemen, a land torn by conflict, yet stitched together by beauty, history, and mystery. From desert skyscrapers to ancient palaces carved into stone, from alien-like islands to bottomless pits of legend, Yemen is far more than headlines and hardship. It's a country of stories waiting to be heard, wonders waiting to be seen, and a spirit that refuses to fade. Thanks for watching, and if this glimpse into hidden Yemen sparked your curiosity, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stick around for more wonders from the corners of the world. See you in the next adventure.